The deadly fire in Old Montreal last month, the one that killed 7 people, has shone a spotlight on the lack of accountability when it comes to regulating Airbnbs here, both from the company itself and from local governments. But now, at least one municipality is taking matters, or at least trying to, into its own hands. Sainte-Anne-de-Bellevue Mayor PAOLA HAWA joins us now to discuss what her town is doing. Mayor, thank you for being with us this afternoon.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Let's begin with my first question when I saw the story was, how much can you actually do on your own?
Well, that's a very good question because it is quite limited. As you know, that is mainly managed by the province, and the province has certain rules that we have to follow whenever we make bylaws and regulations. And we are not allowed as a municipality to outright ban Airbnbs. What we can do is set criteria under which they can function. So the secret is to set that criteria, not say, we outright ban them, but to make it a little bit more difficult for them to meet some of that criteria, a little bit more demanding.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example. For us, in our commercial sector, they're already banned, by the way, in St. Anne's, 100% in all residential zones. But we are not allowed to, like I said, do a complete ban across territory ban. So in the commercial sector, they are allowed under certain criteria, some of which are, for example, the building in which the Airbnb is rented needs to have a certain amount of square footage. The building itself has got to sit on a specific size lot. The front of the building has got to abut a street or a sidewalk by a certain number of linear feet. Of course, they've got to have their certification from the authorities. So putting all that criteria in place makes it a little bit more difficult for them to actually move in.
How will it be enforced? Because I think that was a big part of the problem with what happened. Those Airbnbs in Old Montreal were illegal, right?
From my understanding, they were illegal, yes. But I mean, we cannot provide a permit before they come to. Well, they have to come to City Hall to get a permit in order to function as a Airbnb, and we will make sure first of all they meet all the criteria, and then we have to issue the permit. But yes, it will be difficult to inspect and make sure that whatever Airbnb is functioning on our territory is actually legitimate and legal. But one thing happens in a small village is that you can't keep anything secret for too long.
Yeah.
So we're going to count on eyes and ears, let's just say, from the residents.
Well, to that point, what was reaction, or did it all of a sudden ramp up after what happened in Old Montreal, or have you heard this from residents there for a while now?
No, we haven't had very many Airbnbs in St. Anne's. We've had 2 or 3. But, we started working on this project over a year ago, and it's part of a larger plan that we have to try and manage the rental properties that we have on our territory. They're becoming more and more scarce, and, of course, rental prices are going up. So we were trying to see what can we do in our entire village where the students are and the tourists are. What can we do to help control the price, the ever-increasing prices, and make sure that as many units as possible are available for long-term rental.
Mayor,
so this is just controlling the Airbnbs is just part and parcel of a bigger plan.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Mayor, I'm trying to make sure I understood correctly. So there really
Sure.
are only a couple, like a few Airbnbs that are operating in St. Anne right now?
There were. The last time I checked, or some of us checked on the website, there doesn't seem to be any left.
Okay. I'm wondering, would someone who wanted to do that, I mean, anyone could go on and put a listing up. Obviously, you should have a provincial number that proves it's legitimate, but how would you even know if someone had done that in your town?
Well, we're going to check. Obviously, we're going to check. Once a month, once every couple of weeks, we're going to check and see if there's anything that's listed. Like I said, we had checked. We started checking about a year and a half ago, and we know that there were some. So we knew that it was something that we had to address, and that's what we started doing a year and a half ago. And that's why we are now at the end of the legal process that we have to follow to change the bylaws and the regulations in order to restrict their use.
Okay. And then I'm curious, you said that your municipalities are not, so not just you guys, but all municipalities are not allowed to out and out ban things like Airbnb. Would you like that to change? Would you like that legislation to be there so an out and out ban could be an option?
Well, yes and no. And I'll tell you because that's a double-edged sword. So if for us in St. Anne's, Airbnbs would not, it wouldn't work for us. It just, the impact, the unintended consequences of it is creating, more scarcity in terms of apartments that are available for students or seniors to rent, increasing prices of rental markets. But I could see situations where there are some cities that would actually welcome Airbnbs. So I wouldn't say it would be nice if it was a little bit easier to ban them or to restrict them even further. But I could see situations where other cities would welcome them.
Okay, other cities, which brings me to the question of, have you discussed this with other towns, the idea that you're trying to push forward here, and what has been reaction?
Well, we've spoken to a couple of other cities have contacted us to ask us how we did it and how we're doing it, and what are the legal implications of it. So I know that other cities are looking into it. I don't know at which point they're at in terms of adopting it or moving forward, but it has raised some interest. It has piqued the interest of a few people, a few different cities.
Okay. I will ask one other thing just on a different subject. I remember, Natasha, we spoke about the issue with that supermarket, right?
I was
that
just going to ask the same thing. Ami Plus was set to open in the old Marché Richelieu.
That's still on course?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's going to be opening up at the end of May. What a lovely couple that purchased it, that will be managing it now. They really have a community spirit to them. They've already met. I've introduced them to our local farmers, to the local farmers market. They've already, I know that they've a lot of the food that was on the shelves had an expiration date of June when they first purchased it, and they didn't want to throw it all out because it's still good. So they've been in touch with a lot of our local food banks and have donated a lot of food. So, they're just wonderful. They're going to be wonderful partners and wonderful community members. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a great thing for the city.
Yeah, listen, I wanted, just before we wrap up, I did want to go back to one thing about Airbnb, which is a question I forgot to ask, which was, at any point, has Airbnb been in contact with you?
No.
With the city?
No.
Okay. Just curious, because obviously when something like this happens and you sort of prevent them from being able to be anywhere, you think there might be some people calling up saying, well, I want to do it in my area, but the city's not allowing me to do it. And I just wondered if they had reached out.
Well, it's only come to the fore and become public in the past few days. So I'm not saying I won't. I'm not expecting a phone call, but I haven't received one yet.
And then I'll just say, any concern, because if people are not doing it legally, that they then do try to operate illegally. And you kind of alluded, well, not alluded, you said you're going to count on the community, on citizens to kind of, make sure that you're aware of what's going on and sort of rat people out.
Yeah, well, you know what? Unfortunately, I think it's part of human nature that whenever you try to put a rule in place, so the first thing some people do is try to find a loophole to it or try to find a way around it. So, I don't have any illusions or that won't be happening. I'm sure it will be, but like I said, we have eyes and ears on the ground, and we'll see. We'll wait and see.
Small towns,
Mayor,
word gets around.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Have a great afternoon.
You too.
You too.